Theory of Conspiracy livestream. What you are about to listen to is raw and unedited. To view the livestream or subscribe for updates, you can follow the lads using the link in the description.
Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're now live. Good evening, Andy. Good.
My mic was on mute. Sorry about that.
Your camera, is your camera okay? I'm looking at your Star Wars sign on here.
Yeah, man. No, I'm cool. I'm cool, man.
Excellent.
Cool. Okay, we'll kick off. Hi, TheoCons. Welcome to Theory of Conspiracy. It's Sunday, the 23rd of August, 2020. If you haven't tuned in before, this is Carlos, and I'm Andy. And with our mutual friend Nick, we host a fortnightly audio podcast. This is our spin-off live stream show. And if anyone in the chat room wants to chip in with any opinions or views, then you're more than welcome to. If you're listening to this on audio format and you want to have a look at any of the visuals, then please check out the links in the show note to find these. This time we're going to talk about a Jurassic Park experiment, The Cruelest Week, a super flare, William Wallace, a serial killer, and Darwin. We had some technical issues last time, so we tried something a bit new. If anyone in the chat room spots any issues, let us know. Also, I've reduced the lag on the chat, so that should be in more real time as well. So, yeah, cool. How's your week been?
Well, yeah, it's apart from rain and sunshine, but yeah, it's been an interesting week for me. Lots of research, lots of reading. Ready for obviously tonight's live feed and also for next week's audio podcast. So I've been watching a lot of documentaries. I managed to watch a couple of films last night, but yeah, that's it. Just lots of reading, lots of researching, because obviously these podcasts are coming thick and fast. It's like you don't get any days off now. Literally Wednesday, Sunday. We probably might have to do some more now as well.
Yeah, yeah. I was having some stressful dreams last week about recording or finding things to record for the live stream. But yeah, I've just had different stressful dreams lately, so it's gone a bit weird. So okay, let's kick off with the first thing. So Jurassic Park experiment.
Yeah, what is that? When you give me the title, literally, I thought, what is this? It's like have they cloned a new dinosaur or something, or nothing to do with that?
No, it's nothing to do. It's a very loose connection. Yeah, it's a very, very loose connection. But I've got Biff Crown on Instagram to thank for this. He sent a link over. I don't think he's seen any live streams, but he's a listener of the podcast. Apparently they're going to release 750 million genetically engineered mosquitoes to be released in Florida Keys.
Yeah, I read about that. Yeah.
Have you heard about it? So one paper called it the Jurassic Park experiment.
Actually, I read it through a link Joe Rogan posted because that's where he's from, California, isn't it? Which is he said what next and stuff like that. So clearly, a lot of people. I've not read too much of the article. I've just seen his headline on it, a few of his sort of like releases and stuff like that.
Yeah. Sorry, I think my camera's froze a bit. Bit
No,
weird.
you're all right.
Oh, is it? Are we all right? No, it's definitely frozen. My audio's not, but my camera has. No, I don't know what's going on. Technical glitches. Let me.
On the are you all right there, mate?
Yeah. Sorry, one sec. I'm just trying to sort this. I'm just trying to sort this camera out. I've changed the camera angle. That might make a difference. One sec. There we go.
Fault there.
So we just got gremlins, man. Just got gremlins, right? Anyway, yeah, Joe Rogan's mentioned it. So yeah, basically, the article I read said this is a pilot project designed to test if a genetically modified mosquito is a viable alternative to spraying insecticides to control the mosquito population. The reason they want to do this is the mosquitoes carry several deadly diseases, such as dengue fever, yellow fever, Zika. Never heard of that one. The mosquito, it's got a catchy little name. It's called OX5034. And basically it's been altered so that its female offspring die when they're in the larval stage. So just like the males survive. Apparently only female mosquitoes bite for blood. Male mosquitoes don't. The reason the females do it is they need it to mature their eggs, apparently. Males only feed on nectar and so don't carry any of the diseases they pick up when biting animals or humans for blood, and they don't pass on any disease. Apparently it's taken 10 years to get approval by the state. There's been a lot of
tests and stuff like that.
Well, a lot of anti
playing God and stuff like that.
Yeah, that sort of stuff, sort of like petitions and things like that.
Here's a question for you. Would you, if we could play God, I know we have been playing God with obviously, is it Dolly the sheep or something? I can't remember. And
yeah,
with dogs and stuff like that. Would you, if we could play God and replicate certain species, bring them back from extinction, and that would take on to replicating ourselves, would you think that's a good science project, or do you think leave that alone? Because what's stopping us from replicating other animals that have been extinct?
Yeah,
we introduced so many other animals from into other areas, like it's called the keystone species. What's your opinion on that? Do you think we should do that, or do you think that's a good idea?
I don't know. It's a good question. I mean, Australia are very big on not letting animals get into their country because they've had a load of species like rabbits and stuff that are just
being wiped out.
Well, they're decimating the indigenous life, aren't they? Because they're just too competitive for it and things like that. Rabbits was definitely one over in Australia that was causing a big problem. Yeah, I think anything new into the environment could be potentially dangerous, and I think that's what one of the fears of this is, that it's not been tested. How's it going to be harmful to other species? So, for example, birds rely on these mosquitoes for food. So if the mosquito population, if it drives them down, which is what their aim is, then obviously birds are going to worry about getting food sources and things like that. So yeah, I think with anything there's risk, but it can happen naturally. I mean, we're breeding new types of dogs all the time. We're breeding new types of birds all the time. Budgie fancying a big one for every couple of years that you can literally turn out a new type of budgie by
Yeah.
crossbreeding them. So
The other thing is sort of like, because with mosquitoes, especially in Africa, where they've been a massive spread of diseases, could this happen where a mosquito, we can't control it once they're out in nature, we can't control it. And like, to mention the word Jurassic Park, life finds a way.
yeah,
It's good, but I'm sort of quite scared because we can end up messing with the ecosystem. I think obviously with nature, I think if we've extinct it, I think we should bring it back. But if nature takes it out, I think nature needs to keep it out.
yeah, you don't know. The males that survive would crossbreed with other female types of mosquito, and you don't know what might happen there. Basically, I don't know. I mean, they say this is a pilot, but apparently it was tested in the Cayman Islands and Panama and in Brazil. So it's been done 3 times before now.
It's probably been done for a while. This now,
Yeah.
definitely been done for a while.
Yeah. Apparently, it had a 95% success rate
Which is pretty
in terms of
perfect.
reducing the population
Not
of.
perfect, it's pretty high.
Yeah. So at the moment they spend like millions in Florida on pesticides, spraying it from like backpacks, like people in backpacks, or they spray it from trucks or aerial, planes. They've even introduced insect-eating fish to try and reduce the population because they lay their eggs in water, don't they? Can you, after all that effort in the last 10 years, can you guess what percentage the population of mosquitoes has come down by?
I'm going to say it's pretty high. It's about 48%.
48% from these traditional methods. 1%.
One.
1% difference it's made, and it's cost them millions, absolute millions to do it. So, this definitely does work. So, talking about GM, right? So, there's a big thing about GM, isn't there? People won't eat GM modified foods and things like that. I don't have an issue with any of that. I'd rather eat something that's been genetically modified to withstand itself, a tomato to withstand itself against some sort of disease, rather than they spray it with pesticides.
Well, I watched this documentary about a month ago, and they were showing like the things what we eat isn't what we eat, like from melons to bananas to all these fruits, and we think it looks, when we see it in the supermarket, it looks nothing like that once we've manipulated it.
Yeah.
So the only thing I'm worried about is what's in that genetically modified material. What can it do? Obviously, have they put something to control, I don't know, population, cull the population, because it might affect a certain percentage of people, but not all. I think the way the population is going in the world now, I think we probably need to focus a lot more on this genetically modified food as well, because we're scraping the oceans, we're killing the oceans, we're destroying rainforest. We're very sort of like a very selfish species. So I think in the next say 30 to 50 years, we're gonna have to start thinking differently, completely thinking differently.
Yeah. The cane toad in Australia as well. Bobby Shafter. Hi, Bobby. Welcome back.
All right, Bobby.
Yeah. I knew there's quite a few different species in Australia. That's why they're absolutely massive on it now.
Well, the kangaroos, obviously, that's unique to Australia as well. The kangaroo.
Yeah.
That style with the pouch and stuff like that. I could be wrong, but it's the pouch and stuff.
Oh yeah. No, marsupials is it that have a pouch? Yeah. Go on then. The cruelest week, Carlos. What's the cruelest week?
I like looking at that historical events of what's happened. And I was looking at a couple. We did Waco last week. Or was it Wednesday? We spoke about Waco, and I just looked at the date for Waco. I started looking at other things. What happened? It was basically the week commencing the 15th of April, and I'll just give you some events. What happened during the week commencing the 15th of April? Obviously, throughout the centuries, Lincoln assassination. I wrote a lot of these down. The sinking of the Titanic, the Hillsborough disaster, the Ludlow massacre, the Waco obviously siege, there's another couple of the Deepwater Horizon disaster that was huge, the Boston Marathon bombing, and the other one was Notre Dame, the cathedral. That's just to name a few. But there were so many events. I'm just thinking, do you think certain things happen certain times of year? We either due to get the economy going, or to sell newspapers, or is it just a huge coincidence? I find it interesting that a lot of these big events have happened the week commencing the 15th of April. But it's literally, it's quite interesting. I just want what your thoughts on this, because do you think it's sort of like just a huge coincidence, or do you think it's to get the economy? It's always after the financial new year, so basically get the economy going.
I'm struggling to make the connection with getting the economy going to some of these things.
Just like, I was reading all these major events were just happening at the week commencing the 15th of April. I just thought, it's like, yeah, things happen all year round, but it's just like these events would change the face of history.
Do you know, like, the devil is related to 666 or whatever, 613 or whatever number you come up with, Carlos, 313 or whatever. Maybe it's something to do with that, because Hitler was born on 20th of April as well.
20th of April, yes.
So that happened in that week.
Shakespeare was born a week after as well. Shakespeare, so I don't think that's a coincidence. Actually, Jesus was technically born in April as well. Do you know that?
Yeah, I knew it wasn't Christmas time, because of obviously it was the lambs.
To take over the pagan event. So Jesus was born around mid-April as well.
Yeah, because of the whole babies in the stable.
No,
not babies, the baby animals.
It's to take over the obviously, yeah, it's sort of like spring, but it's to take over the pagan event on the solstice and stuff like that. No, I was looking at some dates and stuff like that, because obviously we spoke about Waco, and obviously I was looking at the dates, and then I was looking at other things I wrote about around that week, and I thought, wow, all these dates seem to be connected. I'm not saying it's connected to numerology, but just connected, like, it seems to that week commencing the 15th, some major things seem to happen.
Yeah.
No, I just found it really interesting on that one.
Yeah, and I take it was the recent fire, as in a few years back, of Notre Dame.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's been on fire before, hasn't it? I'm pretty sure it was on fire.
I'm sure it's probably 1,000 years old. It's probably had all sorts happen to it. But I think the one thing I did find interesting about that is the Notre Dame. The amount of people that posted their selfies outside Notre Dame. It's like, save Notre Dame, save Notre Dame.
Yeah.
But I just found that interesting on that one. But there's lots more events, but they won't be as popular. The ones that just stood out on the topics and stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not a good segue, but you said something about super flare. So is that to do with fires and stuff like you were telling me about before?
So, well, potentially, yeah. We've discussed life on planets before in a previous podcast, on how there are factors that can reduce the chances of life starting on other planets, or life reaching the equivalent, if not higher, intellectual than the humans. But so basically, I've got a new factor to add to the list to reduce that number even more. So apparently, this week, a super flare 20 times more powerful than any of those that have been found on our sun has been discovered, and it's literally like, it's life-halting events. Basically, scientists have detected a super flare on a distant star 20 times more powerful than anything ever seen on our sun, and it could have major implications for the prospect of alien life elsewhere in the cosmos, because flares release a huge amount of radiation that can affect life on nearby planets. I forgot to change the graphic. There we go. For the most part, Earth's magnetic field protects us from the barrage of radiation. But these storms can sometimes affect satellite-based technology, even on Earth. Solar winds can heat the Earth's outer atmosphere, causing it to expand. It can affect satellite orbits. It can potentially lead to a lack of GPS navigation. Doesn't sound that critical. No. Mobile phone signal, satellite TV. It can affect power lines. resulting in electrical transformers and power station blowouts across going down. In fact, have you heard of the Carrington event?
No. No.
Yeah, the Carrington event was in 1859, and it was a solar flare, and it basically caused a surge of electricity that was so strong that telegraph systems at the time just went down across Europe, and there were reports of some buildings that set on fire as a result of the electrical surge.
So the damage now would be even huge. The damage now.
Yeah, yeah, literally every electrical wire potentially could overheat because it just, wires are designed to move electricity, and they would just basically pick up this electricity in the atmosphere, and yeah, a lot of buildings would just like set on fire. Potentially devices in your pocket would explode.
So do you think we invest a lot of money in science? Because obviously we spend a lot of money on military. Because last week we spoke about wage war on asteroids, but I know it's nothing to do with asteroids. But do you think we should be spending more money on science, more money in engineering, and obviously what Elon Musk is doing, trying to sort of inhabit another planet?
I think.
Because obviously,
Yeah.
Because we have a time that we can't live on this planet anymore, and we need to inhabit other places.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think. Sorry, Carlos. Ask me that again.
What's that?
Ask me that again.
No, I'm just saying, should we be inhabiting other?
Yeah, that was it.
With Elon Musk and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think if the human race had got any chance of surviving, I think we definitely need to be on multiple planets, because you don't know what's going to happen to one planet at any one time. Yeah, definitely. With there's so much risk out there. Again, just going back to life on other planets, asteroids or anything can just wipe you out. Life is so fragile. It's crazy, man, when you think about it. It's scary. Bill Bryson, he has got a book on the short history of everything, and there's a whole section about it on like the chances of literally how we got here, the first 15 billion years of the universe, and how we got here, and even when he sort of gets up to like modern times, he sort of like starts going deeper in depth around Victorian times when critical inventions and things happen. It's quite a funny book, to be honest.
Does he have an opinion on before the Big Bang? Because obviously you mentioned the life of the universe and stuff like that. Does he have an opinion on that?
I don't think he does. He starts at the Big Bang. And then comes forward, really. And he spends a lot of time talking about how people try to work out the age of the Earth and things like that, and the age of the universe.
I think we've got at 13.8 billion years the universe, and we as a system was 4.6 billion, I think it is. We've got it.
Yeah. But these numbers have all changed over the years as science has evolved and redefined those things. He talks about experiments such as measuring the salt in seawater, and you measure it every few years, and it gets saltier and saltier. Therefore, you should be able to work out the time when it was just water without any salt in it. But again, that was just something someone came up in the Victorian times to try and work out how old the Earth was. Just crazy experiments like that. And he talks about how scientists used to they'd make a potion, and the first thing they'd do is have a sniff of it, have a taste of it. And I think one of the scientists was he was found dead at his desk. He was literally surrounded by beakers of like about 5 different vials. Any one of them would have killed him if he tasted it.
I can't remember. Like me, what around me.
I know, I can't remember who that was, but yeah, it's a really funny book. That it's good. You can get it on audiobook as well if people like listen to stuff.
It's alchemy, they call it, alchemists and stuff, creating the philosophy and stuff.
Yeah.
Isaac Newton was an alchemist as well, because obviously they said he had the key to turning, I think, copper or lead or something into gold. It was a material, and that was call it the philosopher's stone.
Yeah.
But a lot of these geniuses are involved in alchemy. So obviously it's that. But alchemy is seen as sort of like quite negative. Not now, but it was seen back then. It's seen as negative, sort of work of the devil. Changing things, changing the material things. I think the amount of people that were probably burnt at the stake or for playing with alchemy and stuff like that. But Isaac Newton's huge on that.
Yeah, I believe so. A lot of people have tried to turn lead into gold because it's right next to gold on the periodic table. So all you have to do is get one more proton or something added to it, and literally you'll transform lead into gold at very similar weights. Um, that's the
Making you probably the richest man in the world.
Yeah, that's the science behind it. Well, you'd make that much gold that it'd be you'd make it as worthless as lead then, wouldn't you? Mind you, say lead's still got quite a good value, but you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
every material has its value. Every
Yeah,
material.
it's only expensive because it's of the rarity of it. But yeah, so it's basic at the basic lower end of the table. You mix oxygen and hydrogen together, you get water. You know, that's basic alchemy, isn't it? That's how you make
It is.
water. So yeah.
I was just going to say, Andy, it's got a couple of messages from Bobby.
Yeah.
Was Jesus born on the Christmas day? It reminds me of a sketch from what's it called now? Okay, I remember it. One of the comedy sketch guys. He says Jesus was so lucky to be born on Christmas Day. You've got Mr. Paris saying good evening to you lads. So good evening to the children for both. So good evening.
Yeah. Yeah, Bobby. No, he definitely wasn't born on Christmas Day. It was he was born in the spring at some point, if you believe the story in the barn with all the little barn animals.
No, it was. It's true. He was born in April because
Yeah.
obviously it's documented. It's just changed it to the calendar. The
Yeah.
calendar system to take over the pagan holiday.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool,
But
man.
I'll go to my next one, which is another historical event of the year. Obviously, we love talking about war and obviously famous figures. Today, obviously, William Wallace was killed today. I don't want to say today, but obviously he was killed and caught by the British. For years, I thought William Wallace was sort of like a fictional character, but he was obviously clearly a real person. So obviously he was captured. He changed the course of history. The thing is, I was thinking, do you think these people still exist? I don't mean literally, but these people who sort of fight for their... Because back then, would he have been classed as a terrorist, or would you class him as some kind of patriotic kind of person? Like, would you? That's the thing. Because these people, we admire them. We call them patriotics. We make movies. We write books about them. But would you have called this person a terrorist?
It all depends which side of the war you were on, and who won, doesn't it?
Well,
So
history is written by the victors as well. That's what they say, don't they?
yeah, that's true. So yeah, the English definitely would have called him.
Some kind of terrorist.
Yeah, but you know, the Scottish would have said no. He's just fighting
Fighting for your rights,
for what's
right?
right. Yeah, I mean, all I really know about him is the film that I watched once years and years ago. And I have seen some other historical stuff about how he won some of his battles. By basically there was a battle where they were on side of a river, and there was a very small bridge, and even though he was vastly outnumbered, he was able to like catch them as they were coming across this bridge. So they were in small numbers, and they were basically just hacking them down. I mean, there's many types of different battles against, you know, Boadicea and the Romans that where certain tactics overdid these mighty armies, but you know, they learned from that, didn't they, and eventually got their own back.
Well, that was the difference because obviously these people, if you look at the tactical battles, you look going back, like you just said, ancient Rome, the Greeks. Obviously, the Greeks, the famous was at Sparta 300 against the Persians. That's actually a true story. Obviously, the film made it more dramatic, but that's actually a true story. And that's the thing where I always find these people sort of like today. If William Wallace was around today, we'd probably class him as some kind of terrorist. No, it's just obviously it's just a personal opinion, but yeah, people like when you fight for your rights and do it in the right way, I think you're sort of like you're more of a martyr than a terrorist. Obviously, it's a different kind of debate.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the. No, so it's just I just thought that was today. He was murdered today or killed today.
So did you know the phrase "hung, drawn, and quartered" was thanks to William Wallace?
Yes, it was something because obviously they sent his head, his legs, and his arms to the four corners of the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
Obviously, not to betray the king ever again.
Apparently, that was I think so. I think that's what I've heard. Is that was the first time that was happened. So they hung him till near death. Then they pulled out his intestines. That's where drawn comes from, I think. And then the Quartered is where they split him up and put him on all different. Was it York as well? Was it York where they did that? The York
Uh,
Gates? I can't remember. Or
I
was it
think
London?
it's
It might have been
it's
London.
London Smithfield, I think it was. That's when they did it. I could be wrong, but that's
Yeah.
the London Smithfield. I think the York was probably for the film, because obviously, if you know your history, York was the true capital of the United Kingdom.
Right.
A lot of people didn't know that. But no, I just thought
Yeah.
it'd be a nice, interesting facts of the day for you there, mate.
Yeah, we're rocketing through these, man.
Right, good, nice and flying. But your next one, obviously talking about a guy who fought. Your next one, you want to talk about something about serial killers, you said.
Yeah. So this week, basically, a new report suggests that there's basically a murderer on the run, on the loose, should I say, in the Manchester area, Greater Manchester area. According to the report, the guys that wrote the report say this individual will not stop killing until someone stops him. But basically, it's a murderer who preys on vulnerable elderly couples. And what they did is they re-examined a couple of cases in Wilmslow and Cheshire, which were double killings in the 90s. There were two cases of what were previously thought of murder-suicide. So they thought the husband killed the wife and then killed himself. But they've re-examined the cases using modern techniques, apparently, and the report finds that it finds that both cases were probably unlikely to have been were probably more likely to have been double murders. The first two killings were in '96 and '99, and they were only 2 miles apart in Wilmslow. They've also identified a further 3 murder-suicide cases that are possibly double murders, and these happened in 2000, 2008, 2011, and they're believed to be linked to the Wilmslow killings. There's a number of coincidences which don't corroborate the original conclusion of murder-suicide, and the similarities between the cases including the extremity of violence. Basically, they've just got so much in common. I won't go into the actual details of the violence. You can always Google it. Manchester serial killer.
Is it going like 20 to 30 years apart, or is it 20, 25 years apart? Is it? Or am I getting when was the first one? When was the last one?
Well, the last one was 2011, so that was 9 years ago, and the first one was 1996.
Oh, so it's
So
probably
15 years before.
That's too bad.
Yeah. So 15 years between them. But they've actually asked. Who was it? They asked like Interpol and some other agencies to actually just have just to review some of the some other similar cases to see if it was if they actually could have been misclassified. Apparently it's being currently reviewed independently. So the person that wrote this this report, was a coroner in the Cheshire Police. When he's exposed that, they've sent that off for independent review, and apparently that's what they do with all closed cases. If you've got new evidence for any closed case, that it goes off for an independent review. But Cheshire Police have informed Greater Manchester Police and Cumbria Police to sort of like look at their cases, basically.
How many deaths has he done, or how many murders has he done in total?
So there's 5 there that are linked, all double, so that's 10 people. So you have to kill 5.
In the Cheshire area.
Yeah, you have to kill 5 people. Yeah, all in the Wilmslow and Cheshire area. Yeah. You have to kill 5 people, don't you, to be a serial killer?
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
5 people.
Yeah.
So if you kill 1 person, you're a murderer. Kill 5, you're a serial killer. Kill 1 million, you're a conqueror. That's one way of looking at it. It's amazing. It's like, obviously, I'll digress a little bit, but if you look at people like Genghis Khan, people see him as like sort of like a warrior, sort of like destroying or killing 10% of the world's population. But we hold him in high esteem. We call him like a conqueror, a warrior. But if he were to kill, say, 6 or 7 people, he would have been classed as a serial killer.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So are you going to sleep any sounder tonight?
On that one,
Yeah.
it basically when you live in like the cities where we live in, you're probably vulnerable to all sorts and stuff.
Yeah.
Like if you lived in a rural area, you're probably sort of like you'll be okay. But obviously, things happen because it's happened in Cheshire, Winslow, nice part of the world. But obviously, where I live is sort of like busy city centres and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I always think when I walk past people, I thought, who's that person walking at this time of night? What's that person do? What's that person thinking? But no, I'll sleep well. Don't worry, I'll sleep well tonight.
You'll sleep all right. I think Carlos has got one more going. If anyone's got any questions in the chat room, ping us a question. We'll try and answer it. Go on, Carl. What was your last one, Carlos? Was it?
The one I want to pick up on is I watched a film and obviously I was reading some old books on like evolution, and plus I posted some on our TikTok channel, which when started going crazy. I've not got a chance to read it. It was something I had like 30 plus messages in the first like 10-15 minutes about evolution. Charles Darwin, obviously everyone knows in The Origin of Species, changed the course of history, evolution. Before then, people just probably assumed it was just like God planted man on the planet. But he wrote the book where man evolved from apes, basically. Human, what they call we're Homo sapiens. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But the evolution across the millions of years, about 6 million years. I just found it interesting, but he went from being I think he was raised a Christian. Obviously, after writing this, he would become an atheist. But I think on his deathbed, he converted back to Christianity, probably just to make his wife and his family happy again and stuff like that. But I think he just did it just to make everybody happy. But the one thing I did find interesting about Charles Darwin, he had a granddad called Eramus, and he sort of like, he said he was the father of evolution, and Charles Darwin stole his idea, his grandfather, Eramus Darwin. But there's an interesting story behind all this. Eramus was good friends with Godwin, who was the father of the famous writer Mary Shelley, who wrote Frankenstein. So that girl, can you imagine that girl sat in the living room or kitchen, listened to Charles Darwin's grandfather and her father talking about experiments, evolution, biology, the creation of life, and she created probably one of the greatest ever books ever written, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. But what's your thoughts on? Because a lot of people think evolution is just a natural thing. A lot of people think obviously it's bollocks. Other people think we've been manipulated throughout the I won't say centuries, but say 15, 20,000 years ago, we were manipulated. Obviously, this goes on to people like talking about the Sumerians and stuff like that, talking about the Anunnakis influencing our DNA. Do you have an opinion on anything like that, on the evolution itself, or?
Yeah. Well, no, I believe Darwin's theory. There's plenty of experiments that have proven it, such as the budgerigar thing I mentioned earlier. You can literally breed a new type of budgie in a couple of years by.
We change very quickly, though. We change very quickly compared to the rest.
We change.
Yes.
What do you mean?
Evolved quicker than most.
Humans have evolved.
Yeah, the way we evolved from ape to man, our change was quite quick, quite rapid compared to most. That's why people could be genetically modified.
I don't know. I don't know if it's quick. I mean, it took thousands of years. I mean, man as we know it now, Homo sapiens, have been around 10,000 years, is it?
No, we've been around for probably.
Or is it longer than that?
Longer than that, probably sort of like.
Is it writing? Was it writing started 10,000 years ago? I can't remember.
It depends on which, if you believe mainstream archaeology, ancient civilizations started 10,000 BC, but scriptures say it goes further back than that. Completely, Graham Hancock's literature says it go back 20, 30, 40,000 years, and even further back. Because obviously the Sphinx, we talked about it, it outdates the pyramid. So who created the creator? Well, that's the thing I find quite interesting is we don't know. We assume evolution. I think evolution is correct, but I think we've been manipulated. And the reason why I say that, people say you can't meld science and religion together. But there's a famous story from the Old Testament where the Tower of Babel, where everybody on the planet spoke the same language, worked as one, and literally God said to them, stop building, stop working together. And he says, if you keep doing, I will punish you. So God punished them, human beings, destroyed Tower of Babel, and forcing everybody to speak different languages, forcing everyone to hate each other and can't communicate. Then I came across this science scripture called the FOXP2, where it's the gene for language. It just came out of nowhere about 50,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere. It's called the FOXP2. And I always try and meld science and religion. They say they can't meld them together, but I try and meld it because that would fit with the FOXP2. But I just find it interesting where we just I'm sort of paraphrasing Elon Musk. Elon Musk has said things like we've evolved too quickly. Even 1% change is too quick. Our brain side, the way we do it. But no, that's just an interesting thought on that one.
I don't know. My opinion is it's a lot of happy accidents, basically. That just meant that you got an advantage in the evolutionary scale. You got advantage over other animals, creatures, or whatever.
I think the key to it was probably fire. Fire is the key, because fire, you can obviously create communities. You cook your meat much better. They say, obviously, I know we've spoken about this in an earlier podcast, but they say if you cook your meat, your brain grows quicker, or it grows more. The protein goes straight more to the brain.
I think certain foods you can get more calories out of it once you've cooked it, or something. I think that's how it works.
But there's an interesting question from Bobby Shafter. What's your thoughts on lucid dreaming?
Lucid dreaming, I was looking at that. Lucid dreaming, is that where you leave your body through a dream? Is that lucid dream or is that something else?
No, unless I'm wrong, what I assume lucid dreaming is where you're asleep, but you're not asleep. You're sort of going into like how to put it, like consciousness, like DMT kind of states. You sort of
no, isn't lucid dreaming like where you can control your own dream as you're dreaming?
Well, I'll answer the question where I think it is. If I'm wrong, I think yes. What I do believe, because I've spoken to people where they've done meditation and they sort of do breathing, resting, and then within say 15 to 20 minutes they go into some kind of trance state. They're not asleep, but they're in some kind of lucid dream, like a trance state, and they can communicate via other entities, via other parallel universes. I've spoken to a couple of people and they said they've spoken to lost relatives, people, maybe just to put peace, but I don't think lucid dreaming is used for that. But I think it's mainly to sort of take your mind to another dimension, obviously other realms as well.
Right.
I don't know if it's what he wrote back is leaving your body in an astral projection.
Yeah, Mr. Paris is leaving your body as astral projection. Let me come back to astral projection. Astral projection. I can't say it, but I'll come back to that. So, lucid dreaming as well. I thought it was like where you're having a dream, but you can like go. So say you're in a dream and like you realize that you're dreaming, and you go, right, well, if this is a dream, I'm just gonna give myself like a superpower and I'm gonna fly now. I thought that was like lucid dreaming. I've never really had that. Once I've had it where I've been in a dream, and I won't go into the details. It's boring, but it was basically a dream combining one of my favourite films, which was Aliens. And I was sort of like in the film, or it was happening, and I was like, no, I know what's happening here. We're gonna land on this planet. Aliens are gonna attack us, and I just convinced the other people I was in the spaceship that were going down. I was like, no, I just convinced them to go, no, let's just go back to the other ship and just nuke it. So that was sort of like in a dream. I remember that one. I've had some hyper realistic ones when I was this week, because I've just got so much going on in my head at the moment. But
so your mind's working at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah. But I remember as a kid as well, I had a dream that I was asleep in my bed, But this one I wasn't conscious that I was dreaming at the time. But I had a dream that I was asleep, and this ghostly figure, this man with a shotgun, but he was a ghost. You can only see the top half of him, and he was floating in and out of he'd float into a window in one of the rooms in the house, and he would float out again, and he would float in, and literally I woke up in the middle of the night as he was just about to float into my room. So obviously I woke up and I was in bed, and that was really weird because I dreamt that I was in bed about this. That was really weird, and oh gosh, I must have been like 12, 13, but I still remember that dream quite clearly, man.
It sounds like the Hatman story. That the Hatman. Have you heard of him?
No.
That he's he sort of like comes in and out your dreams, but also is tall guy, black shadow, like a Stetson. I don't think it's called a Stetson, but it looks like a Stetson. And he's sort of like he's meant to be sort of like, some people see him as evil, some people see it as good, but a lot of people, I've read books on it where they say sort of like they're not sure if they're dreaming, but it feels real. But he's always there, overwatching you. He's always at your bedside. He's quite intimidating. He's meant to be like 8-9 feet tall. He's always sort of lurking in corners or near the doorway. But that I'm not sure that's lucid dreaming, but a lot of people think that's real. The lucid dreaming thing, I know a couple of people have done it, and they've enjoyed it. But the one person said to me, "Carlos, you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't do lucid dreaming." And I thought, why? I said, why? I said, it sounds like perfect for me. He says it could be like a portal or a channel where you can bring things in. And obviously, if you've got an inquisitive mind and you start thinking, I won't say negative or positive, but sometimes you can bring certain energies through the portal.
Right.
I don't know if that's where it's not Andy, it was Bobby Shafter was talking about, obviously regarding sort of like out of body experiences or evilness.
Yeah.
But you see if Bobby Shafter's done anything like lucid dreaming.
Yeah, you'll have to let us know. Going back to astral projection, I've heard the same with astral projection, man. So astral projection, again, you put yourself into a sleep state, but in your dream you can leave your body, you can turn around, you can look at your body, and you can basically go and visit things. Like your spirit leaves you, and you can go, oh, I'm gonna go and have a wander down the street and look in the shop and come back while you're asleep. And apparently, while you've left your body, other spirits can get into your body and you get possessed and stuff like that. I've heard that, but
That's more of a possession, though, wouldn't it, though?
it is, but it's exactly what you described. It's exactly what you described about evil things getting in while you're in this state. It's the same things apply to that. But I remember I mentioned this guy actually. So when I was 21, I was on a course with a guy called Rob, and we became quite good mates for a while. And we just fell out of touch. It's a shame, but Rob was big into spiritual things, crystal healing. What's that thing you do with your feet? You know, you touch certain bits on your feet, and that can heal you. But he had loads of books. He would hand me all these sort of, oh, look at this book, and they were all really old books, and they were all stuff like ancient aliens and things like that. But I was around his house this one time, and he gives me this book, and it was all about this guy doing astral projection, and it was written very early 1900s, if not just before. And this guy, this guy basically gives you the techniques to go and do this astral projections. I went home that night and I tried it. I tried this sleep technique. All I'll say is I had a very strange dream. I don't think I left my body, but I dreamt that I could see myself, and because I'm a bit techie and into my gadgets and things like that, I saw my body, and on bits of my body was like a little symbol, and I could zoom in, and it was a message, and I'd read the message and then zoom back out. I don't remember what any of the messages were. It was just a dream, but I guess that was on my mind. So again, I had a very strange dream. You know, turns into like a dream podcast, this, on it.
How long was this? Is this a while back ago, or?
Oh, this is when I was 21, man. So over 20 years ago.
Because just to follow on that, Bobby's just said, for me, when you know you're dreaming and know it's not a reality, 2-3 times a week, regular for him. I'm a great flyer now. Obviously, at flying that is.
Wow.
I just wanted to reiterate that. So clearly he's got it down to a T. So it'd be interesting to see if it's all about meditation and has he sort of Bobby sort of met things or things on the way, because he says it's clearly you are dreaming, but dreaming is a form of mental state. It's like a form of DMT, because people say DMT is a form of dreaming as well, because your body glands replicate DMT, and it takes you some kind of translucent state.
Right. Yeah, it'd be very interesting to have a chat with Bobby, wouldn't it, on this sort of stuff?
It wasn't Bobby who gave you that thing, was it? That book?
No. Oh, Bobby is Rob, isn't it?
Yeah,
I don't think so. Bobby, if you're Rob and you know me, man, yeah.
He's probably saying that book. Yeah, it's I perfected the book now. He's probably saying.
Yeah.
No, but dreaming. When I sometimes go through phases through dreaming a lot, and then not dreaming a lot. But I used to have a lot of dreams where, like you just mentioned before, I used to have a lot of sort of dark dreams, because my sister used to say to me, Carlos, stop reading all these like certain books at night time. Say it could be military war, it could be religious possessions and stuff like that. And that's probably the last thing you're thinking about going to bed. It's sort of like embedded it into your memory, or not into your memory, but into your kind of mindset. But it'd be interesting to see what Bobby, is he perfected the art? 'Cause clearly, if he does it 2 or 3 times a week, he's probably he probably does it at hand.
Yeah,
But I want
yeah.
to see if he actually done, if he's had any messages from the other side.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know how to train myself how to do that, man. I think
It's quite easy. It takes you about 15 to 20 minutes. I'm not. Someone said they give me the ins and outs of how to do it, but I didn't want to know in case I did it and I'd want to be on my own. I'm in some kind of translucent state of dreaming.
Yeah, crazy, man. Cool. All right, cool. Any other questions? I might have a random question for you, Carlos.
Go on then.
Let's send you down the rabbit hole. Okay. Okay.
What's the question, Mason?
What is the best lie you've ever told?
Best lie?
Yeah. What is the best lie you've ever told? You're gonna tell me you don't tell any lies?
Everybody lies. Everybody lies.
Yeah, some people like me are just a bit rubbish at it.
No, the best lie depends. I don't know if I should say it, but I've helped people out lives where I know people were in trouble,
Right.
serious trouble, and I know a certain person was about to get annihilated, and I had to create something for this person not to get on a train, not to go to this place and get annihilated. I had to create some kind of family issue for him and create some kind of. But
did he know you were lying?
No, yeah, because I had to create like why he had to do it. So I didn't want him to catch the train. If he caught the train, he would have been what would it been? Something like no suspect, no motive, no clue. He would have been classed as one of them people. But in terms of lies, I think we all lie. It depends on what the end game is. I believe everybody lies, but it depends on what you want to do and how you want to manipulate people.
I've got a funny story. It was funny for me anyway, man. So, oh gosh, back in the 90s, I was working for a mobile phone company, a very early mobile phone company called Martin Dawes Telecommunications. If any of my old work colleagues listen to this, they might they might recognise this story. But we used to use this system, where like it was an all-in-one system. It did your billing, it had all your customer records on there, and you logged into it. It was an old AS400 system. It was pre-Windows, although we did have Windows at the same time as well. And you could send if you knew a user's logon, you could send a message to that user, and you could also make a mistake and end up sending a message to every single person who logs onto the system. So one morning, this message goes round everyone in the company about shagging squirrels, and yeah, obviously everyone's like, oh my god, who sent that? And rumours were flying round. Didn't think anything of it. I came back off my lunch, and my manager comes over to me and he went, I want to see you. So stood in front of his desk and he says, that message this morning. I went, yeah, it was funny, wasn't it? He went, did you send that? I went, no. He said, tell me the truth, Andy. Did you send that? I said, no, I didn't send it. I said, I've not even logged on to the AS400 this morning, but I heard about it from other people that had. And he went, it's just that we've had a phone call that says that IT have tracked it to your computer. And I went, nah, they've not. He went, that's what IT have told us. The director of IT wants you in his office now to basically sack you. And I'm like, nah, I said this did not happen. I said, I will go to my terminal now. I'll log onto the AS400 and I will get my logon ID, because not only did you have a log on, but every session you could change your session name, and I'd changed mine to something like Darth Vader or something like that, or Vader 1 or something like that. So I went and got him a screenshot. So I went, there you go, manager. I won't say his name. I'll go, there you go, manager. There it is. And I go, right. He phones the director of IT up. He goes, you're right. I've had a word with the guy who's done it. I'm not going to send him to your office. I'm going to discipline him here. But can you check that it's the right person? Because he's saying that his terminal is this. And so I'm starting to shit myself here now, because I'm like, how is this? It generally wasn't me. How is this connected to my machine? And literally, like, people started coming over and saying stuff. I'm like, how does the whole office know about this? And next thing, I call my mate he used to work 2 floors below me, and I call my mate and I said, you're not going to believe this, but I'm in the headlights here for this message that went round this morning. I said, and to be honest, it sounds like something you would have typed to me, not something I would have typed to you. And he went, nah, you're not in trouble. Someone's winding you up. I went, I'm not. I've been in front of my manager's desk, and he's been onto the director of IT. He went, no, you're not in trouble. And I went, I am. I said, why do you believe I'm not in trouble? And he said, someone's winding you up. Next thing, my phone goes. And I pick my phone up, and this voice says, hi, I'm the director of IT. And I went, no, it's not. It was a guy that worked with my mate. And I went, no, it's not. It's you, Mr. X. Again, I won't say his name. And he says, how did you know it was me? I went, by your voice. He went, well, that was me at dinner time when I phoned up, and I pretended to be. I thought it'd be funny if I phoned up and pretended to be the director of IT. And I went, okay. So that was you that phoned up at dinner time? He went, yeah. I went, so, but I didn't answer the phone, did I? He went, no, you're on your lunch. I went, who answered the phone? He went, oh, it was the office secretary. And she was a blabbermouth, right? I went, okay. So when she answered the phone, did you carry on with this joke? He went, yeah. He said, I told her that I was the director of IT, and that Andy Dale was in the frame, basically. And I went, right. I went, you better get upstairs now and talk to my manager, because that has gone round all the office. All the office think I did it. My manager has phoned the true director of IT, who you're pretending to be. Anyway, he was up in a flash. Me and him in front of my manager's office. He's apologising. My manager's going, Mr. X, I can't believe you've done this. You are basically getting Andy sacked. And anyway, my manager basically had to phone up and say and explain it all, that actually they hadn't caught the culprit at all, and it was all some prank that this guy had done by phoning my work phone and carrying on this tiny little white lie he thought would be funny, but told it to this secretary who was just a blabbermouth. It was that was a close call, that. So anyway, probably bored everyone to death with that, but yeah, I'll always remember that.
That's all my topics gone there. That hour flew quickly then.
Yeah, it did. Thanks to Bobby for a bit of a dream segue. Yeah, that's cool. Cool. All right then. Yeah, you better say goodbye. So we won't be on Wednesday. We're recording a podcast. But we'll be on next Sunday. We'll be on in a week. So goodbye from this
Goodbye.
fella.
Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah. Don't forget to follow us for future notifications. Don't have nightmares. Do sleep well. Remember that show that was off Crime Watch. And
He's just left a message there before.
oh yeah, go on.
So for me, if you want to try, it's usually when you wake up and can't get back to sleep easily, maybe 30 minutes or more. You get the comfortable position, do not move, let your body go to sleep and your mind stay awake. And there comes the point where vibrations start and you start to lucid dream and try it. Yeah, it's pretty much what my friend told me and stuff like that. So that's what probably happened to me when I had that kind of encounter. Lucid dream, it was probably going in and out. But I had a bit of a dark experience.
Yeah, I know that if you want to, if you're having a nice dream and you wake up and you want to carry it on, you lie perfectly still. And if you have like a nightmare or a dream you don't want to stop, you get up and have a walk around, because moving kicks off some sort of chemical in your body that sort of like defuzzes your brain and clears it. So
if I'm having a nightmare, I just change positions. I lie on the other side, try and change it. But no, thanks, Bobby. I appreciate that. I'll look into that.
Cool.
I might even try some lucid dreaming as well.
Yeah. Cool. All right then, guys. Stay safe. Peace, love, and Randy.